Thank you very much, Julius, for joining us. You can also join us on 0302 and then 0244 Do you work within the hospitality industry and you've had to, work from home, or you've been asked to go home as a result of the challenges associated with COVID-19? This morning, we want you to tell us how you are coping. Maybe you're also working within the value chain, as in you supply certain products to these industry and you're feeling the pain as a result. Give us a call now on 0302 and then 0244 Let's get back onto the phone lines. Kinsley, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Great, Kinsley. So tell us, do you work within the sector and how are you coping?
Great. Good morning to all your listeners. Actually, I'm doing that for my wife. I opened a salon plus a barbering shop, so put together all in one shop. I think that before the lockdown, first of all, she even had to go and buy some products. She adds like the wigs, the other stuff that go along with the service, and that was a challenge because the lockdown just came in when we are actually not really planned, and so it was difficult her getting some stuff to support when the lockdown was on. And then also people fear. There's fear in people. People are so skeptical about the fact that those that will be coming, either they've connected to those that have been tested positive or with the contact tracing and all that. So
okay.
It's a bit difficult now that she's running. It's very slow, very, very slow. She's at the area and it's very slow compared to when this issue had not come up.
All right. Thank you very much, Kinsley. Let's go to Medina. Nana, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Yes, go ahead, Nana.
Well, I work in that sector. I work with a catering service company.
Okay.
We deal directly with clients, like institutions, not really a restaurant. So, as it stands now, we are running shifts, and they've been paid cut. It's not been easy, but what can you do?
What's the percentage of pay cut, if you could share with us?
Between, I think, 40 to 45%. Yeah.
40 to 45%. So how are you coping? Do you have a family?
Well, I have a family, but I stay alone. I'm not married, though.
Okay.
I stay alone. It's not deep.
Hello, Nana. Okay, I think we've lost Nana there. You can also join us on 0302 and then 0244 just share with us, how you're coping. Do you work within the hospitality industry? And have you been asked to, probably run shifts or work from home as a result? Elisha from Teshunungwa, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Elisha, go ahead.
Yes, I do satellite TV installation for a hotel in Osu. Every month I recharge their DSTV for them, and then every month I earn around 1,000 cedis from that hotel. Now the hotel has come down. There's no service, so my monthly salary that I get from them is no more coming. So that is how it has affected me.
And so how are you coping now that your monthly salary is no more coming?
Since I'm an installer, a lot of my customers also call me to do some installation for them in their houses. And then when they have fault problems or with their cables, they call me and then I attend to them. So that is how I'm surviving now.
All right. Thank you very much, Elisha. Enoch from Adan, good morning.
Yeah.
Yes, Enoch. Go ahead and tell us what your situation is.
Yeah, my situation is from March. We work for March, but because of the virus issue, we need to close down for April. So our director decided not to pay us for the March because there's no much business in the March. So we have to come home. So from March, April, May and June, we are not going to receive any salary or nothing. So we are home with no money. So it's been very, very stressful being in the house, and it's very bad. No, nothing, no money. So that's how the virus has been getting to us as the pandemic occurs.
All right. Thank you very much, Enoch, for joining us. John from Mamobi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, John. Do you work within the sector, and how has that affected you?
Yeah, I work in the sector. Last year was a booming. You yourself, you confirmed that we made a lot of returns, profits last year. So in January, the figures are okay. February, the same thing. So this coronavirus hit us in the month of March, April, and we had a difficulties. So I'm saying, now, where are we leading towards? If this industry gives us this amount of percentage to our GDP, so there's no plan for the rest of the year. God forbid, if one of them is in a fire outbreak, does it mean that all the workers will not be paid? There will be a seminar on Monday to talk about fire recovery. Is it fair? People have worked overnight. People sometimes during the Christmas holidays, people don't sleep, don't come to the house. They sleep over, work over like there's no tomorrow. And today happened just barely 1 month, 2, 3 months, and we have this seminar going on now. I'm calling the people of Ghana to stand up and let's speak out. For these expatriates are killing us.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. Let's go to Busumuru in Accra. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, go ahead and tell us what your situation is.
Yes, my name is Musumuru from Domapi.
Okay.
So, in actual fact, I was working for a lady. Sometimes I drive her. And because of this lockdown, he told me to hold on. And my wife is a seamstress. She helped me in the house or home with the kids and things. But because of this lockdown and this virus, there's a wedding, funeral, and all those things. And when there's occasion before they get things to show. And because of this virus, now nobody comes to show. Therefore, I'm not getting anything. And she too, that will support me. In fact, it's very difficult for us now. And so that is how the virus has, affected us so much. Because now nothing comes for her to show. And me that I also go and come, my madam said I should hold on. So it has affected us so much.
So how are you coping?
It's not easy. Sometimes, at least people that we know, at least when you call, can you help me? And the loans, if I tell you the loans that I've collected from people that are owe, it's not easy for us. But at least, man for it.
Okay.
So,
well, certainly man for it. Thank you very much, Obusumuru. Kweku, good morning. Hello, good morning, Kweku.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, Kweku. Tell us how you're coping and what the situation is.
It's not easy. It's not easy because one thing with our industry is that whenever there's a pandemic, the first industry to be hit is the hospitality industry, and it's so sad because in fact I closed my office in early March because the whole of February there was nothing coming. There was no ticket because the thing was at the beginning to pick up, and in March it was worse. So I just closed the office, because when you go to nothing, nobody buys it. Rather, people are coming to take their refund from you. The airline is even having a hard time giving you the money and give it back to you because a lot of flights were cancelled early March going to the middle of March before the borders were closed. So, I mean, it's very, very challenging. It's very, very challenging. But we're hoping for the best that, things will normalize. But for our industry, which is the travel and tour industry, I believe from what I'm seeing, it will take more than 6 months to a year before we can get back to normality. Corporate travel, fine. After corporate travel might resume, but then leisure will take a lot of time because of the risk involved, and people will just be thinking twice before they go on tour. But we're hoping for that. But we pray that we pray to God that the vaccine comes early, so we can all resume our works and get something to eat.
Thank you very much for joining us, Kweku. Bismarck from Afinia, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, Bismarck. Go ahead and share your experience with us.
Yeah, my experience is that, during the Xmas, a lot of expatriates go home for vacation. So we who work in the meat industry, especially who import meat from outside to supply these hotels, have brought a lot of stocks in. And now that the expatriates are not coming back and this virus is in town, our stocks are locked up and our capital is also locked up. But I have one important thing I also wanted to add to this. It's about the vegetable farmers.
Sure, go ahead.
We are just coming out of the minor season, and these vegetable farmers have spent so much money to plant vegetable for this hospitality industry. Now, their vegetables have no lifespan. After 3 days, they go back. So I think government should look around and do something for the vegetable farmers also. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Bismarck from Afinia. I think we just pick a few more calls, and then we get into the conversation. Nanaya, good morning.
Morning.
Great, Nanaya. So tell us what your experience is.
Well, I own a hotel in the Sojaman area. And as a young man, I've invested so much in the last 4 years. And just when I started reaping, then this pandemic came in. Now, I'm running at about 5% occupancy, or even less. I've had to lay off my staff, and it's so difficult. A gentleman talked about DSTV. In fact, I've disconnected 5 out of my 6 decoders. I've had to run on one freezer. Things in my stores are expiring. I have to get rid of them. And it's so tough. I don't know how I'm with money to pay my staff this month. I feel for them. I wish I could pay them something. And those are laid off. And it's so difficult.
You wish you could pay them something, but do you have that money to pay them?
Well, the money is not there. I heard somebody talk about giving discount. How do you give discount when the people are not coming? Who do you give the discount to? You understand? The people are not coming, so how do you give the discount?
All right, Nanaya.
This stimulus package by the government, it's a story for another day. For me, as an owner of a hotel, I doubt the stimulus package. I don't think I would even want to think about accessing it in the first place.
Why wouldn't you want to think about accessing it?
Well, the situation in this country, so difficult. Cronyism, one big challenge. Cronyism. Processes you have to go through before accessing, and I don't know whether what they are going to give will be enough to sustain me. And for the stress I'll go through, I don't think it's worth it, my brother.
All right, Nanaya, thank you very much. But just hold on and speak to my producers. Nanaya will be our final caller on this particular issue. We've been joined in studio by Theodore Jeble, who is the Executive Secretary of the National Hospitality Association of Ghana, and Eva Tuninyere, who is HR Manager of YOLO Experience. Eva, Theodore, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, good morning, Winston.
Well, I can't ask whether you're doing well because I know that apart from having life, the situation that you're faced with is not the best, is it?
Not at all. Not at all. We all heard of the pandemic. We heard it worldwide. We knew, or we weren't expecting it to get to Ghana, but it came to Ghana. But the impact on the industry, it's not something that we had ever imagined. Because after the first 2 cases were reported, everything just went down the drain, as if it's magic. The fear and the panic prevented people from walking into our outlets, and it's sad.
So let's, get very practical with you, Eva. At YOLO Experience, what do you do, and how have you been affected by this?
Okay, I am the HR manager for YOLO Experiences, and when the 2 cases were reported, what we decided to do was to send the pregnant and then the breastfeeding mothers home because you are vulnerable. You don't want somebody who has a life depending on her to be at risk. and you can't send somebody home without paying them.
Okay.
So we continued paying salaries to these mothers, and it's tough.
So at YOLO Experience, what activities do you engage in?
Okay, we have restaurants and then a nightclub.
Okay.
The announcement initially came excluding the nightclubs, but we thought it's not worth it if we will still operate a nightclub which has a lot of people in sweating and all that. So we just had to shut down the nightclub and then reduce the staff strength, because they use public transports, and you can imagine how it feels when you are sitting in it, getting to work, coming into contact with a lot of people. So that's it.
And when you say reduce staff strength, so you've laid off the workers?
Not at all. We started by actually running a shift system.
Okay.
So everybody on full salary, but there is no need coming if nobody is walking in, because we could go a day with just a morning shift with just about 10 people walking in, which is something that we never imagined, because our outlets are always busy, always vibrant, and so having 10 people come in and staff members coming to stand doing nothing, it's sad. And it's not worth having them travel from Kaswa, far from town, and then doing nothing. So we put them on full salary, but we just ask them to be home, and then we run a shift system. Before
I get to Theodore for, a general industry perspective, so right from February you've been running shifts, or you started in March?
We actually started the shift system in March.
And you're paying them full salary?
Yes.
If you look at your accounts, you are HR manager, if you look at your accounts, are you able to continue paying them full salary based on the sort of inflows you have?
We are actually unable to continue, because in March we did the shift system until the total lockdown. Nobody was able to open up, so we had to let everybody go home. So still on full salary, and at a point we've had to get to a point where we pay half salary.
So you're paying half salary now?
Yes, at a point we've gotten to that point. We've gotten to that point, and it's sad. It's not just about our employees. It's not just about YOLO, but it's the whole industry, because we have suppliers who are relying on us. We have our cleaning. We've outsourced a lot of the services, and what are those people doing to their staff as well? So that's it.
Theodore, let me get to you. How has it impacted the industry, the hospitality industry?
I struggle to find the apt words to describe the impact, because it is huge. In fact, when you are talking about these things, the government sometimes thinks that you are exaggerating. They don't appreciate the nitty-gritties. And that's why I'm so happy you've had to call in people to give their own experiences, so they get to understand what is really at stake here. These are investments by people, years of investment. And these are staff who have worked so hard for years. And then suddenly there's a pandemic, and we are all running helter-skelter. And mind you, because the industry depends most entirely on foreign visitors, people who visit the country, because it's the fourth largest foreign exchange earner for this country, just after gold, cocoa, and probably remittances. Is the next big foreign exchange earner. And it depends on, in fact, the life breath of the industry is visitors who come in. That's how they get the money. So imagine that even before the lockdown, the story of the virus, making waves in nations caused airlines to stop coming to Ghana.
Sure.
So then right before the lockdown, the industry began to suffer big time. No more visitors, no more foreigners were coming in. And then take Ghana, for example. How many of us in Ghana actually go to hotels to eat? Probably, once in a while during holidays or there's an occasion, then you probably will go to the hotel and with your family. And even that, is a struggle for many homes. So it's an industry that is already suffering. It's staggering to survive. And then there's a lockdown. Now you say that don't go out, stay at home. And mind you, the industry depends on people walking in and sitting down and talking together. There's a background music somewhere playing there, so you relax with your friends, the food is served, and then you talk and you eat and you enjoy. That's the essence of the hospitality. All that is lost now. And yet, they are still paying bills. They are paying for water. They are paying for electricity.
Are you paying for water? Because we're told that water is free now.
We've heard that.
No, the government is told the Ghana Water Company not to, just present the bills, give you the bills, and yet you don't have to pay either.
Yes. Winston, yes, the government has spoken. We are yet to realize it. And even with that, you cannot compare the hospitality industry to any other industry. We use cold rooms. We don't use just the normal freezers people use. We use cold rooms, and the generation the power generation is something that cannot be compared to any other thing. And we stock up to be able to serve guests. So it's not like we can off the freezers to be able to reduce the cost. No, our freezers are still running. And so if the government is not able to differentiate the hospitality industry from any other industry, we don't actually see how the 50% will be helpful to us. Okay, so
just by way of clarification, we know that it's supposed to start from from April, May, June. Yeah. And so with electricity, by May, you'll be able to find out, your consumption and everything will be taken care of. When it comes to water also, when your April bill is being brought to you, then you would have the free water supply where you don't have to pay anything. So
if you say we don't have to pay anything,
for water it's free.
It's still 50%.
No, water is free.
Water is free,
and electricity is 50%.
Water is free. We are not there, so we are not using water. The electricity is still running, and we are not serving. We are not generating anything. How do we pay for the balance? How do we cater for the 50%?
You can't pay?
We can't. It might look like we are exaggerating, but your callers have told you everything. They've actually told you what the situation is.
And
yes,
mind you, the utilities are just a little drop in the ocean when it comes to the total cost of...
Tell us about the total cost. Since you say the utilities are a little drop, what makes the other aspects of the ocean?
They pay levies and taxes regularly. But by the time the month is about ending, they are knocking on your doors to take their levies and take their taxes. All right, there are property rates that they pay. They pay salaries of staff. They also contribute to the Social Security National the SNIT fund. Okay, they've taken loans from banks that they are administering. All right. Then of course they import food items, be able to cook and prepare and serve their clients. Apart from that, they have rented commercial properties that they are paying for. So for all this time that the suffering has come, they're still paying these rents. There has not been any reduction in the payment of the rents. Okay, and that's how their cost comes about. And then of course there is this annual union levy. Every year you need to do some adjustment. The people are not working. There's no money anywhere. There's no revenue coming from anywhere. So how are they going to be able to do this? How are they going to be able to stand on their feet to even pay any contribution, to even pay any tax at all? That's the question. It is so critical. And when you speak like this, it's like these people are just making so much noise. Is only their sector? Is it only their sector that is suffering? There are other sectors. But ours, the whole thing depends entirely on people coming together to eat and to buy.
Exactly. But looking at the challenges that you're going through, and Eva, you talk about how you've had to run shifts and all of that. You've talked about the pay cuts. I don't know what percentage of pay cuts maybe you would tell us. But can't you then negotiate with the employees? Let them understand these are not good times. And so if you would spend some time at home and not be at work, you probably might take, you probably might be taking money for the times that you work, also because of the challenges you're faced with.
Yes, it's easy to just put it that way. But if you've worked with people for a particular number of years, even if it's a month, there is a relationship, and you know that this person is going to be home. If they are coming on a shift and you are going to pay for the shift, I mean, the money is going to be used to pay for transportation, because the figures on transportation has also increased because of the number that is supposed to sit in the buses. And so you look at it and you are like, okay, if I send this person home without money until they come for a shift, how are they going to survive? Because they have families relying on them. And it's tough.
So you're looking at it more from a humane point of view.
Exactly.
The fact that people would have to survive.
They would have to survive. And mind you, because we have perishable goods, we buy vegetables in bulk. I mean, we do a lot of things in bulk. We've had to do charity work. So we can.
What do you mean by charity work?
We've given food to the people living on the streets, people who cannot afford to buy food. And we use the stock for that. So if you are taking care of people who are not part of your team, how do you communicate to your team that you cannot pay them? How do you expect them to survive?
All right, so just by way of clarification, the free water is for domestic use, not for commercial purposes. So for Theodore and Eva, yes, I can understand the situation you find yourself in. Yes, but Theodore, some have argued that when you're a business and you get into these problems, you probably should be looking at ways that you can come out of it. As an association, as a group, what are some of the ways that you think you could come out of the problems you're currently faced with?
Good. The government spoke about a stimulus package. We welcome that. But that is not really what we're looking for, as good as that is. We want to accept that. But there are other, what we call the low-hanging fruits.
Okay.
Low-hanging fruits. If, for example, they will honor their word with regard to the tariffs, if they will suspend all levies, and I mean all levies and taxes, if they will cut down on property rates, even by 50% within the period, if they can negotiate with SNIT, for example, to bear the cost of salaries of staff, even by 50%. If they can, the last time the president spoke about the banks, having to grant loan moratorium of 6 months to companies, but our members go to the banks and nothing has changed. It's the same story. Because the banks are entities on their own, they have to do their own internal arrangements to see if this is workable or not, and they determine how long it will take for them to do that. So on the ground, it's not there. So can the government expedite action on that? If import duties on food and drinks imported by our company, our people, can be reduced, if the rental charges for our sector can be cut down or probably even taken off for 6 months. And we are not saying that we will not pay. It's because we cannot pay. If we could pay, we will pay. I mean, we've been paying for all this time. And if you know that, I mean, the industry is we are actually bleeding from corona. We are bleeding from it, gushing wounds. And we want to show the government that, look, government, see our source. We need your help. We need your assistance. Come and support us. Because otherwise, we fold up the business.
Great. So we're discussing the impact of COVID-19 on the hospitality industry. This morning we have Theodore Jeble, who is the Executive Secretary of the Hospitality Association of Ghana, and Eva Tunyere is the HR Manager for YOLO Experience. We've been joined on the phone by Dr. Aka Nyamike Jr., who is President of the Ghana Hotels Association. Dr. Aka Nyamike, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Vincent. Thanks for having me.
Great. So I know you've been listening to the conversation also. As your colleagues discuss the impact of this on the sector. From your point of view, beyond what has been said already, what are some of the other impacts of COVID-19 on the hospitality sector, particularly from a hotelier point of view?
Vincent, thanks for the opportunity once again. I must say, I listened to the conversation, I think about 10 minutes ago, And I must say that your panelists have given an apt description of what is happening in the industry. And I stand by everything that they have said with regards to the impact of COVID-19 on the industry, and speaking to the hotels especially. You see, I would like to summarize everything they said by saying that the oxygen that feeds the industry has been cut off. And once the oxygen has been cut off, there's nothing going on. And people have been talking about a stimulus package. And just yesterday, I think I read about the Private Enterprise Foundation talking about the government pushing the stimulus fund to viable businesses. The fact of the matter is that we don't have any patronage base, as the gentleman in the studio mentioned. Our business thrives on visitors coming to our premises, coming to our facilities, and enjoying the services that we have to offer. That has been cut off through the closure of the international borders. The airlines are not flying, ban on social gatherings. So all these things have cut off the oxygen that supplies the industry. What the challenge we are faced now is how to deal with our staff, how to deal with our workers, how to deal with some costs and so on, which is why we are pushing for government intervention. And we are pushing for government intervention because we contribute a lot to the economy.
Sure.
Like your panelist said, we contribute a lot to the economy, foreign exchange earnings, taxes, levies, employment, and all those things. So if a situation like this, which is a force majeure, we did not ask for COVID-19 to come into the system, and we are on our knees, I think it's the duty of every responsible government to ensure that such an important or significant sector of the economy does not collapse. And that's what we are trying to avoid by advocating for government intervention. And these interventions must come in as fast as possible.
And so, yes, if you say your oxygen has been cut off, you're looking at those who visit these facilities, and that has been cut off, and you say that the stimulus package would just not be the way to go. What other interventions are you looking forward to?
Well, you see, when we call the package stimulus, that is where there's a challenge. That's why we prefer to call it a distress relief package. We are in distress. And you see, dealing with the payroll issues or the staff issues, it's not a simple matter of saying, staff, there's no business, go home. That's a very simple way of looking at things. It's more complex than that. These are people who have worked with the industry for years, for ages. These are people who have contributed to the economy, to the industry. You see, and these are people whom the hotels have invested a lot in terms of training, in terms of human resource development. Okay, so now when we send these people home, we lay them off. Okay, we try and get some money to pay their severance award, maybe a 1 month salary or 2 week salary or something. When the situation gets better and we come back, what do? Then we have to go through the whole process of re-engaging these people. I think it would be far less or far cheaper if we find a way to maintain them. And here we are not asking for full salary support. We are asking for some percentage. I mean, that which can keep body and soul together to the period. So we are asking the government to that support. And
please hold on 1 minute. You're asking government to help you pay salaries of your employees. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Straight to the point. That's what we are asking. And we are doing that without any...
and what percentage are you looking at here?
Well, like I said, even before the intervention comes in, I know some of the facilities have gone ahead to negotiate with their staff. Some are doing 50%, some are doing 75%, some have graduated it to the extent that in May they are looking at 35%. You see, these are not normal times, and I'm sure that we've all curtailed our expenses and to make sure that we focus on the most important thing.
Exactly, but Dr. Akanyamike, one thing that is also important, and you've made a point that we are not in normal times. The abnormal time is such that government is also affected by way of its revenue generation. And so, do we know, for instance, how much it would cost you? I mean, the salaries within the sectors on a monthly basis, and so if government were to come in, for instance, the figures we'll be looking at.
Good question, Vincent. It will be a bit difficult to say for now. And this is where I've always said that the Ghana Revenue Authority or even SNIT should be very helpful in times like this. Look, Vincent, every month on a regular basis, like your panelist said, we pay taxes to Ghana Revenue Authority. We pay the SNIT contribution. And all these payments are accompanied by the number of staff, their basic salary, the taxes they are supposed to pay, and everything. As an association, we are not able to get this information from our members. In any case, our association does not cover all the hotels in Ghana. It's a voluntary association, so some of the hotels belong to us. Okay, so if you're looking at the big picture, the Ghana Revenue Authority should be able to give us that information in terms of the amount of salaries that is paid by these hotels to their members, because the information is there. And by now, we've been talking about this. By now, the GRA or this SNIT should come out and say that in this month, this is how much the hotels will need, or this is how much the tourism businesses will need to pay their staff, because that is the record we have here.
Okay.
It is available.
We certainly would continue with the conversation, but we need to go for some few messages. Dr. Akanyamike Jr. is the president of the Ghana Hotels Association. Eva is here. She is HR manager for Yellow Experience, and Theodore Jobless, executive secretary of the. He's executive secretary of the. Hospitality industry. Yes. That one escaped me. So we'll go with some few messages. We'll be right back.
Mommy, I'm hungry.
Oh, Hema, today is Mommy's day off, so you can order anything you want.
Anything I want?
Anything. You can call me Dada Cash today.
Yay, pizza.
You crazy, making promises. Do you even have enough cash on you?
Honey, just watch and learn. Hello? I'd like to place an order for 2 large pizzas and 2 large drinks.
Sure, sir. You can pay cash on delivery.
Oh, forget the cash. I'll be paying with CowPay. It's quicker and faster.
Pay for anything online and take control of all your payment transactions with CowPay on the CowBank app. Visit the Play Store or the App Store and download the CowBank app to make bank and mobile transfers. Request a checkbook, stop a check, and also have access to the CowPay payment platform. CowBank app. Forget the cash.
What does extra mean to you?
Extra means Tower data.
More minutes to talk to my loved ones.
Data that doesn't expire.
More talk time at the best rate. You want extra? Airtel Tigo is giving you extra. Extra data on Big Time Extra that doesn't expire. Extra minutes on Fuse Extra that doesn't expire. And extra unlimited calls. It's time for extra. Even our bonus data doesn't expire. You need fill up? Simply dial *111# to activate now.
Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
The coronavirus is real. We have to take the necessary precaution and follow the safety protocols in order to stay safe and protect our loved ones. The Junction Mall, your favorite shopping and entertainment destination, has put in place the necessary safety protocols to provide a safe, secure, and serene shopping environment during this period. Please do your part as well. Wear a nose mask before you visit the center. Wash your hands with soap under running water at the hand washing facilities provided. Use the hand sanitizers provided at Vantage locations in the mall. And finally, observe the social distancing protocols put in place in the various shops. We need you and your family alive for a better tomorrow. We've implemented the no mask, no entry policy at all our entrances per the government directive. Please observe the safety protocols to help reduce the spread of the virus. Stay safe, stay healthy. Follow our social media handles at The Junction GH for further details. The Junction Mall. Join, explore, shop, enjoy.
In a world where everything is changing around you, sometimes you need to turn to someone you can trust. You want to move with a change in safe hands, and we are here to help. At Societe Generale Ghana, we understand change because we have transformed and evolved. No matter how our name may change, 43 years of retail and corporate banking expertise never changes, ensuring stability and trust. Digital innovation as the world moves forward to help you adapt, upgrade, and keep up. Bank with Societe Generale Ghana and enjoy doing your banking your way, whenever you choose. In our digital zones with cutting-edge digital banking products and quality services, you deserve a better bank and great rewards. We agree, the world only moves because you make it move. SG Ghana, the future is you.
There is one deadly disease in Africa, malaria, caused by mosquitoes. It has no respect for humans, and its symptoms are fever, headache, cold, cough, and vomiting. Malaria kills, so protect yourself and your family. If you have been diagnosed of malaria, the medicine you need is Malatu. Malatu is a good anti-malaria drug. It contains acetaminophen that gives you relief from malaria. Available in suspension for kids and tablets for adults. If it's malaria, then your solution is Malatu. And if symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your physician. For bulk purchases, contact NS Chemist. NS Chemist, providing quality and affordable medicine.
Abna, why are you crying?
Why wouldn't I cry out? This has become unbearable. Everywhere I go, I'm treated like an outcast. At home, at work, at the hospital, even at the market. Is it a crime to have TB? Is it a crime to have HIV? It's better I die. Why?
No, Abna, you can't give up and die. Indeed, a new dawn has come for persons living with HIV and those suffering from TB and sexually transmitted infections. WAPCAS, in collaboration with the Ghana AIDS Commission, is shedding light on our rights so we can enjoy equal rights as captured in the Ghana AIDS Commission Act, Act 938. Rights to quality health care, non-discrimination, equal work opportunities, and education. You may call WAPCAS on 030-224-1452 or 055-6233-663 to report any act of discrimination. WAPCAS.
Here for your rights.
WAPCAS and Act 938. Here for life. This advert is brought to you by WAPCAS with funding from the Global Fund. Be happy.
Every child needs to learn and play. That's why I give my kids Go TV, the best choice for kiddie edutainment. With lots of fun and educative channels for all ages like Da Vinci, PBS Kids, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Jim Jam, and Disney Junior. Learning the fun way never stops. So, mommies and daddies, keep the children playing and learning whilst at home. For sales and customer service, SMS Go TV to 1731. Go TV. Live it. Love it.
UMB was established in 1972 as the premier bank for the corporate and private sector in Ghana. From our very beginning, as the only Ghanaian bank serving all categories of businesses, we set a standard for excellence and innovation over the past 45 years. We've built a financially healthy and strong bank, demonstrated our commitment to our customers and to growing businesses, and exhibited originality and innovation at every turn. At UMB, our focus is built around people, service, products, and technology. These are the key to our present success and our future triumphs. At UMB, we're poised to make a difference not only with our customers, but also in the banking industry. We invite you to share in our future. Our future starts now with you.
Morning Show.
Still live on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 with me, Winston Amoa. And today's agenda is brought to you by Societe Generale, SG Ghana, the future is you, and Malatu anti-malaria drug from Ernest Chemist, providing quality and affordable medicines. Feeling unwell and have you been in contact with persons you are not sure have the virus, and you're showing the following symptoms: fever, continuous cough, a running nose, sore throat, or possibly a headache, not sure what to do and who to speak to, then download the GH COVID-19 symptom tracker on your phone and access it anytime, anywhere, or dial the short code *769# on all networks for assistance. Your identity and information are safe. Enter the necessary details and get digital assistance. Stay home, use the COVID-19 symptom tracker, and stop the spread of the virus and save lives. So these are not normal times, and in moments like these, we draw our loved ones closer, discover new things, and do better. As you figure out how to entertain your energetic kids, collaborate on never-ending work from home, or hang out with friends together but apart, remember the most important insurance premium to ensure your family's safety is to stay home. All Out Life Assurance will be there when you need us. Just call 0302 799 788. We've got you covered. Absa Bank Ghana wishes to inform its cherished customers that all of its branches are open for business. Branches in Accra, Kumasi will open from 8:30 to 3 p.m. and all other branches will operate within the normal branch hours of 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. To ensure everyone remains protected during this period, customers are reminded to wear nose masks when visiting any Absa branch. Absa Bank is also encouraging you to use the Absa digital channels and enjoy secure and safe banking in the comfort of your homes and offices. Pay bills, buy airtime, make mobile money transfers, bank transfers, cash deposits, and so much more by using the Absa mobile app with easy and secure fingerprint and facial recognition access, or dial *895# to the Absa USSD phone banking even without internet connection, or using the Absa intelligent ATMs with cash deposit and cardless transaction functionalities. And also remember to use your Absa debit or credit cards for payments and minimize direct contact with cash. Continue to observe all the health and safety guidelines during this period. Stay safe. But even as we stay safe, we're having a conversation on the impact of COVID-19 on the hospitality sector or industry. So we have the Executive Secretary of the National Hospitality Association. I got that now. That's Theodore Jeble. And Eva Tuniere, who is HR Manager for YOLO Experience. We also have Dr. Akanyamike, who is President of the Ghana Hotels Association, on the phone, and we're having a conversation on the impact. So let me get back to you, Theodore Jeble. You talked about a lot of things, and Eva, you talked about how you expect that the levies that you pay, are put on hold around this time. It's important we understand what levies that you pay that you want, put on hold at this time.
So yes, we pay Ghana Tourism Authority. We do pay EPA. GAMRA is also on our neck every year taking their levies, and we have property rents still on hold. I mean, until the government is able to come out and say something about these things are still going to run as if there is nothing happening in the world, and it's not fair.
And how much do these rates cost you? These levies that you've talked about, on the average, how much do you pay?
It depends on the size of the facility and the kind of activities that go on. So it depends. We cannot just pinpoint a particular figure and say that this is what, because if it's a nightclub, the figures are different. If it's an eatery, the figures are different.
So can you share past payments with us so we can have a better appreciation of what you're telling us?
That is not readily available because we didn't know we'll go into figures. I mean, yes. And the unions are still on us for annual salary increments. And until something is said about it, I don't know how we're going to deal with it.
There's one caller which will mention that.
Yes, yes. Because if, for instance, a meeting is supposed to hold by December for an increment, And for the past 3, 4, 5 months, nothing is going on. How are we going to take care of the increment that will come up? Yes. Bank loans are still running. I mean, at the end of every month, you are supposed to make payments. And it's at the discretion of the banks to decide as to what they want to do, as to whether they will tell you that, oh, hold on, because we know we are not in normal times, or yes, we are demanding payments. And we think government should come in and differentiate our industry, because it's tough.
Yes, but Theodore, you talked about, even before we get to Theodore, the banks. I mean, one of his addresses, the president advised, a moratorium on interest payments, from the banks, for instance. So that is something that the president has advised the banks to do. Are they doing that?
It's just an advice. It's up to them to decide that yes, we are taking it, or no, we are not.
But from our members' point of view, so far that has not materialized.
Okay. That hasn't been done.
Materialized, yes.
Great. But you talked about SNIT bearing the salaries of staff. How?
Well, we contribute to SNIT every month. We've been doing that consistently for years now. And one of the SNIT fund, therefore, to support staff who probably are retired. So if you are not retired yet, and there's a crisis, and your company cannot mobilize funds to pay you, and that money is sitting down there, you don't even know whether you even live long enough to enjoy that benefit. So for just a short period of time, 3 months, 4 months, why is it so difficult for government to understand that this is possible?
But that was suggested, and SNIT told you it would amount to an imprudent use of funds.
How on earth could that be an imprudent use of funds?
SNIT is actually supposed to be an insurance, and
for your retirement.
For your retirement.
Yes.
But at this point, if you are sending people home, millions of people home without jobs, and their families are relying on them at the end of every month, how are they going to live to enjoy the retirement package?
We are going to wait to 60 years before we start enjoying something that we can actually, enjoy a little bit of now. Just a little bit of that. Why should we have to wait for 60 years or 50 years, 40 years to enjoy SNIT when the time calls that something is done about it now?
And this conversation has never come up until this pandemic. So it's not like an industry comes up to say that do this, and then after some time we stop. No, we are in difficult times.
So you agree with the former president when he says SNIT should be supporting people who are affected by this. They should be using their contributions that they've put in there already to support them.
We spoke about this long before his commentary. Long before his commentary. Probably he picked it from us.
When you send the letters to SNIT, what did SNIT tell you in their reply?
Well, they've still not written back to us, so we are hoping we'll get a response. And letters were sent early March.
But I'm sure you've seen the response of SNIT in the media.
No, but I mean, responding publicly is different from responding to an entity.
But it's the same request, isn't it?
No, it's different. It's totally different. I mean, this has never happened. And so if we write to you talking about, we are going to reduce salaries to 50%, how can you help us in terms of payments of SNIT, our mandatory payments, and you don't respond to us? It is totally different from addressing the whole country.
So you're waiting for SNIT to write to you, then this is the response of SNIT. Everything else in the media is not a reply to what you've said.
What we wrote to them is totally different from what you're addressing in the media. So we are still waiting on them.
Okay. Let me get back to Dr. Kanyamike to, find out what he makes of this particular suggestion about getting SNIT to, support. Theodore says SNIT should be paying about 50% of it. Dr. Kanyamike, is that something you would support also?
Well, Vincent, I think I have a slightly different opinion on that. And that is to say that at the end of the day, it is a government responsibility to ensure that we all survive this pandemic, which is why in the first place they made some adjustments in the rates of the utilities. And so I would prefer that every issue is channeled to government, and government decide to absorb the cost that comes up. If we take it directly to the agencies, they can just refer us to the act that establishes them, that they are not supposed to do X, Y, Z. But under the circumstances, in a situation like this, the government exercises its authority to adjust things here and there, and then the agencies will have no choice but to implement it. And so I would prefer that these things are channeled straight to government so that they will then direct the agencies to deal with it. I'm not surprised that state has not responded directly to that letter because they will hide under the act that established them. But Vincent, let me quickly chip in something about the water, the free water.
Sure.
You see, after the president announced that the water was going to be free for the 3 months, Ghana Water Company quickly came out about a few days later to say that that free water was only for the domestic users.
Exactly, for domestic users.
Yes, and that the commercial users were not part of it. We have raised it with the Ghana Tourism Authority, and they have said that they are going to seek clarification on that. But there was a release from Ghana Water Company that the commercial users were not part of it. And so we need to clarify that. Otherwise, then it will appear like we are enjoying some benefits which we are not enjoying. And then in the course of time, the bills will come back to bite us. So that needs to be clarified by the Ghana Water Company. And I hope that Joy997 could take it up with us because they issued that statement.
Well, they have actually clarified that as for domestic consumers. But talking about the Ghana Tourism Authority, you said you raised this issue with them. What other issues have you raised with them, and what has been their role in ameliorating the conditions that you're going through now?
Well, Vincent, I must say that the Ghana Tourism Authority, and by extension the Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture, has shown a lot of good leadership in this pandemic. Right at the beginning, mid-March, they called all stakeholders to a meeting at the Accra Tourist Information Center. I think that was 11th or 12th March to discuss the impact of COVID-19 on businesses. In fact, at that meeting, initially it was about how to curtail the spread in our facilities. But then questions came up from the meeting indicating the potential impact of the virus on businesses. And that was when we started looking at the impact we are likely to suffer from it. And then from nowhere, the president also announced the travel bans, and then the closing the barriers and all those things, and then social distancing. So we put a lot of the issues that we had in mind on paper. The GPA met us, we discussed it with them, and that's what we were talking about, the salary support. We're talking about immediate suspension of the taxes and levies and the regulatory payments, and also looking at the loans aspect, looking at utilities and all that. So yes, the GTA has really shown leadership, and we are in constant touch with them. Last week, again, the GTA set a meeting with the National Board for Small-Scale Industries to give us an idea of the process involved in applying for the 600 million. Very important meeting. We understood the issues involved there. And so, yes, the GTA has been very, very supportive, and they keep on giving us feedback on what is
exactly. But Dr. Akanyamike, while it's good to be giving feedback, while it's good to be giving information, I am sure at this point in time, what you need is not information. What you actually need is implemented policies or measures that would help better the situation you're going through.
Vincent, you are so right. In fact, we needed the help like yesterday. That help right from March when this thing started biting. That was when I was expecting the government to suspend all taxes and these regulatory fees and the levies and all those things that were going to strangle us. But, my brother, what can we do? We can only advocate. We can only talk when you give us the opportunity to talk like this. We can only raise this with them.
Hello, Dr. Nyamike. Well, I think we've lost Dr. Kanyamike. They will try and get him back on the line. But let me get to you, Eva. I mean, I saw you nodding when Dr. Kanyamike was making the contributions. But he seems to he disagrees with you on the SSNIT because it tells you that SSNIT can always hide under the law and say, we won't do this. So maybe you should be focusing, on government, like he stated, that government should come in and support you.
Well, yes, we should focus on government, but then again, government is trying a lot of interventions, and we went to SNIT because we felt we've been paying the staff have been paying contributions, and if you are cutting somebody's salary by 50% or by 70% or by 60%, then it means that you are supposed to go back to SNIT and make payments. Why can't SNIT say that, yes, we know we are in difficult times, so pay the salaries, but let's hold on to your mandatory contributions for so and so number of months, so that we know that we are just focusing on salaries. The little we have, we can continue to take care of the people at home, rather than having to think of salaries and still have to go back and make payments to SNIT.
That's understood. That's understood. Let me just wrap up with Dr. Kanyamike. So, Dr. Kanyamike, we know that over the last 2 months you're going through a lot of problems, but many of you are still able to pay your workers. All things being equal and holding all other things constant, how long can you continue to do this?
Did I hear you say some have been able to pay their workers?
Yes, I'm just here with Eva. She tells us that, with the YOLO experience, they're still paying because, even though it's very difficult, they're paying their workers.
That's a drop in the ocean. I mean, we are talking, with regard to hotels, we are talking of over 4,000 licensed hotels in Ghana. So the circumstances will be different for all of them. Some have invested their inflows into the business to raise the standards for beyond the return that the government was pushing. Okay, so yes, some may have some money in the kitty to deal with the situation for that, but for the majority of the hotels, there's no influence to deal with the situation. A lot of them were able to deal with March, but April is a big challenge. If nothing comes into the system, May will be terrible, and I don't know what June will do. I know a hotel that has said that they paid 100% March. They're able to negotiate 75% for April, May 35%, June 35%, and July we will see what God will do, and that's exactly how he put it to me. Okay, so if we don't really get that support, and I'm a man of faith, I pray that this thing does not extend beyond the July or August. Otherwise, the repercussions will be too much for us to bear.
And so far, have you had to lay off workers?
Well, you see, this thing about laying off workers, for me, it's not an option now, frankly. And it shouldn't be an option because of the challenges involved in laying off workers and then trying to get them back. Okay, which is why we are guided by the Labour Act 651. Okay, unfortunately, the Labour Act itself did not foresee this whole thing about this pandemic or force majeure and all those things. So we find ourselves in a situation where we need to sit down with our staff. We need to give them the facts on the ground. What do we do? And that is why we need the government to intervene so that at least we keep our staff in the payroll for now. When things bounce back, we'll pay. And thankfully, these facilities, the 600 million or whatever ones, they have a 1 year moratorium. So at least to get them to organize themselves so that they pay later. But let me quickly mention that for now, that 600 million seems to target micro, small, and medium. What about the large scale ones? Because some of our hotels have more than 99 workers. That's the limit of the medium scale for the NBSSI. So what about the big hotels? What about and don't forget that sometimes we think that the big hotels are all franchised and the international hotels. No, some of them are homegrown hotels with shareholders within Ghana, owners within Ghana. Okay, so they also will need that support. And so far, nothing has been mentioned about that. So we don't really want to consider laying workers off. Please, let me put it this way. Government is looking at ways to support those who have been affected by the COVID-19. And that's why they supply food to people, the vulnerable ones. Now, when we lay workers off, they are all going to fall into the category of the vulnerable who also need support.
Okay.
So why don't you give that support?
And talking about giving that support to you, finally, Dr. Kanyamike, how much would you need monthly in government support?
You see, let's use our data. Let our data work. If at my hotel, okay, if I have say 10 staff and their salary is X amount, the GRA can confirm that. If I apply to NBSSI saying that I need money to support my staff for 3 months or 4 months, the records are there. I pay the taxes. I pay SNAP.
Yeah, but as an association, do you have these data that you're talking of? Do you have it yourself? Have you compiled it yourself?
Listen, I do. We have that.
So can you share them with us?
Let me give you an example, and I can't give the total figure now because we've not gotten to that point. But if you take some of the hotels, some pay salaries as high as $1 million Ghana cedis. We compiled it. 1,200,000 Ghana cedis, 700 Ghana cedis, 700,000 Ghana cedis, 650,000 Ghana cedis. When you come to the lower hotels, we are talking about 200,000 Ghana cedis. The small ones, 50,000, 5,000. It's a whole lot of different salary ranges. So let's go by the data. If a hotel applies, just check the records and see if because we understand that this money is not for infrastructure development, it's not for expansion. It is to make sure that people survive the period.
Okay.
And to also have some administrative expenses like the electricity. Even when the hotel is shut down, we still have security people to pay. We still have lights, electricity to sort out. Okay, we still have our loans to deal with. So it is for that purpose. And
right.
That one, it can easily be verified. There shouldn't be a problem with that. So I don't need to say that government needs to give the industry 350 million, which is what at one point the calculations came up to. We don't need to go to that. The system can verify any request made by a hotel and determine that this is a right request, and let's see, can we give 50% of that, or 60%, or 70% of that, about 3 or 4 months? So
okay.
It's possible.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kanyamike Jr., who is president of the Ghana Hotels Association, for joining us this morning on this particular conversation. Let's get in studio and wrap it up with Theodore and Eva. So, Theodore, haven't talked about all the challenges that you're going through. There's also a bit about insurance, because some of these things could be borne by insurance companies. That is, if you are on insurance policies that take care of some of these force majeures. Is that something that your members are on? Eva, you're here. Is that something that you are signed on to so that you could go to them?
I mean, a pandemic like this, happens once in a lifetime. I mean, where the whole world is running helter-skelter, and everybody is running for cover, hiding in our rooms and wearing those masks to work. I mean, it happens once in how many years? 1,000 years. So it's not something that you can actually invest into. And so none of my members...
Yeah, but in the UK, one company actually...
That's one out of...
I'm just giving you a situation. They paid £20 million annually in insurance costs for 4 years.
Well,
and then now they are entitled to £132 million.
Well, that's fine. Even for normal insurance here in Ghana, see how we struggle to do it. Because, I mean, it's difficult to do.
Okay.
So if you are finding difficulty in doing that one, and then you don't have to go and be invested into things that probably happens once in a year, in a lifetime. That probably wouldn't make economic sense to most of these companies.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we need to be wrapping it up. Finally, from you, Eva, you've listened to the president of the Ghana Hotels Association. You've also heard from our listeners sharing their views with you. So, going forward, just by way of wrapping up, what would you want done for you?
Well, what we will want the government to do for us is to come in and intervene, because we don't know what the faith of the people we work with is going to be like. Even my own job is on the line, because I don't know when my last salary is what my last salary is going to be and when it is going to be. And if nothing is done, the companies that we work with, I mean the outsourced companies, they have cleaners who are supposed to be paid. They are going to the streets. our workers are going to be on the street, and the harm is going to be more than the advantages. And so government should come in and intervene in whatever way they can. Yeah.
Finally, Theodore, yes.
Yes, let me take a scripture in Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 22.
Okay.
It says, "Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Why then is not the health of the daughter of my people recovered?"
What do you want to say?
Is there no balm in this country for the restaurants? Is there no balm in this country for the eateries? Is there no balm in government for us in this time? That's my question.
Well, ending on that religious note, thank you very much, Theodore Jebler, who is the Executive Secretary of the National Hospitality Association, and Eva Tonyere, who is the HR Manager of YOLO Experience. So I'm here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 with me, Winston Amos. Still to come this morning, and in fact, coming up next, we're dealing with abandoned projects. So there's been lots of talk about how those projects are at various stages of completion and how government would ensure that they are completed, and also the fact that no project will be left unattended to. This morning, we'll be going around the country and speaking to our correspondents to find out the state of those projects. But before then, some messages from our friends.